What's up, DC Nation? Back into the video on Doom Metal. Now guys, this is a crossover in the Justice League title that ties into the end of Dark Knight's Death Metal. Now, quick recap of what happened last issue. We got Nightwing, and we got Lex Luthor, Hawkgirl, and Bobo, aka Detective Chimp. They're in pretty much this whole Death Metal world, Earth, how it's like been transformed and stuff, and they're just going through it, right? And they're trying to free the Legion of Doom, because the Legion of Doom will help them out, alright? Lex Luthor knows how to get through this world, where Nightwing, Bobo, and Hawkgirl, not so much. And we actually found out that Martian Manhunter went on his own, fought off against some Omega Knights, which are like Omega Titans for Perpetua, and then ran into the Mindhunter, which is a Batman and Martian Manhunter hybrid from the Dark Multiverse. So a lot of crazy stuff, but last issue was more setup. This is where it gets really good, alright? I liked last issue, it's pretty solid, but this one, I don't know, man, it was pretty awesome. I liked it with Starros, all sorts of stuff that I'll discuss later in the video. But guys, I'll link down in the description my Death Metal playlist, so you're not caught up on this event. Go check out those videos. I'll actually put in like a separate thing, like the previous video, part 1 of Doom Metal, if you're just trying to get into this crossover, right? But yeah guys, you're right, let's dive into Justice League number 54. A boom tube opens. We see Starfire. She says Victor, and Cyborg says the boom tube should have taken us to the Hall of Justice, Starfire, not wherever the hell this is. My scans are all over the place. Now they land like this desert place, and that's when we see Killer Croc, King Shark, and Pig, and this other like different villains of Batman, and they're all transformed, guys. They look really big and they look like monsters, right? And they're going to attack Starfire and Cyborg. Now Starfire says, not the welcome I hoped for. Is that Killer Croc? Where are we? And Cyborg says, wait a minute, my scans show we're not that far from the Hall of, and that's when we see Nightwing, Hawkgirl, Bobo, and Lex Luthor come behind them, and Nightwing says, move! And that's when Starfire says, Richard? And Cyborg says, what the hell, Nightwing? And Lex Luthor says, Dr. Arkham used the Wasteland's radiation to create twisted experiments based on Batman's enemies. They must have escaped after his demise. So Dr. Arkham is dead. Nightwing kicks Pig in the face, and Starfire says, what happened? Nightwing says, long story. And that's when Cyborg says this should take care of them in a non-lethal way. Takes down King Shark. That's when Bobo says, what else is this hellhole gonna unleash on us? And Cyborg says, I leave town for a minute and you guys really let the world turn into a nightmare? Huh? And Nightwing says, good to see you too, Vic. And Starfire says, can you explain why I'm not blasting Lex Luthor in the face right now? And that's when Lex says, it was I who detected your boom tube arrival near the Hall of Justice, which led to your rescue. Be thankful. Now that we're in one big happy family, I suggest we stay on the move. Follow me. And Nightwing says, you're not going anywhere, Lex. And that's when Nightwing says, I don't have a good answer for Starfire's question as to why you're with us. You helped us find our friends, but no matter your actions, I won't put us in jeopardy because of you. And Lex says, you're making a mistake, Nightwing. If you wish to survive this world long enough to get to Perpetua's throne before it moves again, you need me. And that's when Cyborg says, how about hell no? And that's when Lex says, this is how you treat a teammate? And Hawkgirl says, your last team was the Legion of Doom. And now they're trapped in a cosmic god's throne, where their life energy is being drained. Now she continues to say, so Luthor, we'll never be on the same team, not even a little bit. And that's when Lex says, you don't know this world like I do, Nightwing, only I can get us to Brimstone Bay, safely to free the Legion of Doom. You'll lead your friends to danger. And Nightwing says, I know exactly what I'm doing, Lex. By getting us away from you, I'm getting us away from danger. Now, that's when we have the Mindhunter who has control. Well, he pretty much has Martian Manhunter by the neck, and he's saying, you didn't tell them why you left, did you, John? Why you ventured into the battlefield all on your own. But I know, when the totality was crashing down to your world, you convinced the Justice League to have faith in its potential for good. But then you saw its truth, the horror she would bring. You never told them until it was too late. And now, you let that guilt overcome you and bear judgment. So when you sent someone like you wanted to know what they saw when they looked at the totality, if they made the same choice as you. You and I were always alike, John. Both had our worlds tragically ripped away from us. As the Batman of my world, I stole DNA from my Martian Manhunter, the abilities of Superman, plus invisibility and shape-shifting. Then he says, but those are not our greatest weapon, are they? It's our minds. And he continues to say, in pretty much his mind, they're both trapped in the mind. You see Mindhunter, he's in like a chair, he's Bruce, and he's talking to Martian Manhunter, who's just trapped in the other chair. It's actually a really cool visual by the artist. And Mindhunter says, the telepathic connection we can create with the people around us, you use the skill to connect the Justice League. Even now in this hell, you can still feel them. You can still read their thoughts. And he says, and that is what I want, that connection. Well, at the darkest night, and I know what Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are up to, and then we can stop them. And Marshmallow says, I trained myself to protect that connection, my hunter. And my hunter says, I see that. Clever. But I'm still Batman. And your mind will be mine. And he starts taking Marshmallow by the neck and choking him and getting into his mind. But we shift and we see Hawkgirl, and she says, oh, John, she can sense him. And that's when Cyborg says, you okay, Hawkgirl? And Hawkgirl says, I can feel Marshmallow. He's in pain. And Cyborg says, why the hell did he decide to go off on his own? And we shift to Hawkgirl and Martian Manhunter talking back in New Apocalypse. And Hawkgirl says, I never lost hope, John. I could tell you were near. And Martian Manhunter says, I can feel you too. Your anger was impossible to ignore. And Hawkgirl says, my anger? And Martian Manhunter says, there's something I must do, Contra. And Martian Manhunter flies away, says, go at Nightwing, find Detective Chip. I promise you will be together soon. And that's just says, I'll ask him when we save his ass. And now he says, that might be difficult, because that's a whole lot of Starro. And guys, this is probably the single most frightening image I've seen in a while, guys. We see a valley of Starros, a bunch. Like, that is, if I saw that, I'd be like, no, I'm out. Like, no, I'm not going through this. And Starfire says, what about your boom tombs, Victor? And Victor says, too risky. Whatever is up with this world is playing tricks on them. And Hawkgirl says, I miss Jarro. And Cyborg says, who? And Hawkgirl says, you were gone a long time, Vic. Now, come on. So she's referencing Jarro, you know, the good Starro, right? Now we shift. And what we see is Cyborg, he's trying to get some small talk out of Bobo, out of pretty much the whole crew. Because he's trying to get a light move. But we see next, Cyborg and Starfire fist bump. And then Nightwing says, how can you be so positive around all this, Vic? And Vic says, sometimes all you can do is laugh, man. And Starfire says, Victor's wise. And that's when Nightwing says, I forgot you and Cyborg were close. And Starfire says, in the early days of being Teen Titans, you had already formed deep bonds with Donna, Roy, and Wally, and you all had other places to go, other homes. And Nightwing says, but you two lived in Titans Tower. And Starfire says, our experience in the ghost sector was unique, it changed us. It appears you also went through some changes. You have a new scar, Richard. And Nightwing says, oh yeah, about that. I got shot in the head. By KG Beast, and Starfire's eyes light up. She gets angry. She's like, where is he? And Nightwing says, it's okay. I'm okay. But honestly, parts of my memories still feel like they're in pieces, like trying to explain a movie I saw a long time ago. It's why I volunteered for this mission. Maybe if I become the Nightwing everyone else remembers, I'll remember too. And Starfire says, so much about our lives has changed since we saw each other last. After I had my own time to go sector, I was hoping to come home to family, and I'm glad I did, Richard. Then she changes into a different version of herself. Nightwing's like, yeah, me too. He's confused. But then she changes back. She says, is something wrong? And Nightwing says, for a second, there you look. No, just my eyes playing tricks on me. But then here's a voice. Master Richard, you must wake up. And Nightwing's like, what? And Cyborg says, Nightwing, what's up? And Nightwing says, you don't hear that? And he continues to hear, you're going to be okay, Master Richard, but you need to wake up. Nightwing wakes up and you see Alfred. And Alfred says, Master Richard, you're safe. And he says, merely a flesh wound, but you definitely have a concussion. You're very lucky the bullet missed. Master Bruce is taking KG Beast to Blackie at this very moment. And Batgirl says, you gave us all a scare there. And now he gets up and hugs Alfred close. Because he knows that Alfred's dead, but this is a new world. It's a dream. And that's when Nightwing changed his costume from blue to red. He says, it was just a dream. The world had completely changed, transformed by the bounding laughs. And Batgirl says, having a bullet bounce off your skull can give you weird dreams. And then Dick turns into Batman. He says, no, it was a nightmare. This isn't right. And now it says, Master Richard, you should rest, please. And Dick says, no. Bruce taught me how to separate dreams from reality. And that world was real. But this one, and then he changes into his really old costume from like way back. And Alfred says, what are you talking about, Richard? Everything is fine. And you see pretty much Barbara Gordon in a chair. She's Oracle again. She says, Batman will be back soon. You can talk to him. But that dream is over. You're here now with us. With me, you're safe. And Dick says, safe? And Batgirl turns back, well, Oracle turns back to Batgirl. And she says, everything will be go back to the way it used to be. Yes, Dick, the way it used to be. And he turns back to Robin. Now, that's when he sees Batman. And Batman says, you've been through enough. It's time you went back. And you see Hawkgirl, she's also trapped in this dream. And Martian Manhunter says, I'm sorry I left without telling you. Let go of your anger. Come to me. And then we see Cyborg. He's like, Dad? He sees Silas Stone. Silas says, you did, Victor. You finally found your humanity in the stars. We can be father and son again. Move on from the past. come to me. And then we see Starfire with Blackfire, her sister. Blackfire says, too often we have fought when we should have been together, sister. Come to me. And then we see Detective Chimp. He's like, the sword has been so heavy, it gets heavier and heavier. And his friend says, you don't have to hold it ever again, Bobo. Come to me. Now, back to Dick and Batman. Batman says, don't reject who you are. I know you. Now, let's go back together. Come to me. And Dick says, together? And he's confused. But that's when Lex Luthor pulls Nightwing out of the Starro. You see, Nightwing was actually stuck in this huge Starro, and his mind was being warped. And that's when Nightwing says, Lex. And Lex says, I said you would need me. And he says, this could have been avoided if you had just followed my lead. You would have known not to march through the Valley of Starro. There's a dark multiverse Batman controlled by Starro who took over his whole world. Now his army just sleeps until someone's stupid enough to offer themselves as lunch. So it's a bad idea to go through the Valley of Starros. And Nightwing says, it felt like the dream started to turn on me when I rejected it. And we see Hawk Girl, she's like, nice try. And Martian Manhunter turns into a monster. Then we see Detective Chimp, he's like, my friend's dead. And he sees a dead Nightmaster. And then we see Lex, he's like, then we must kill the Starros. And Nightwing says, no, we have to help Hawk Girl, Cyborg, Starfire, and Detective Chimp first. And Lex says, you are so like your failed mentor, unable to do what needs to be done. And Nightwing says, I'd rather follow his example than yours. We see Cyborg, he's like, you're not my father, Starfire, this isn't real. And then Lex says, Starro might look like a giant starfish, but it conquers things and knows how best to defend itself. And then Lex concludes it with, by controlling your team to kill us. We see Hawkgirl, Bobo, Cyborg, and Starfire all going after Nightwing, Lex Luthor, and all these Starros. So Nightwing is forced to team up with Lex Luthor, and that's how we close out this issue. Hey guys, this is such a great cliffhanger, because this whole Valley of Starros, like wow, that's a really cool idea. I really like it. It's just so dope. And also see like Starfire, Cyborg, Bobo especially. Bobo is one of the Nightmasters. Seeing Nightmaster go from being like alive, just be dead walking. That was just wow. It was very good, like dreamlike sequence. But best of all, seeing Dick wake up, y'all like have a great moment with Alfred, then turn to like New 52 Nightwing, then turn to Batman, then turn to Robin, then turn to his old self. It was a lot of nostalgia and a deep dive into Dick's mind in like a matter of 2 pages. A great deep dive, guys. Also, I really like Martian Manhunter and Mindhunter's whole conversation. I really like the Mindhunter. He's just such a cool character. Seeing him get into Martian Manhunter's mind and being like, nah, I got this. I have the powers of you. I combine my DNA. And seeing like a Bruce in like a chair and like that mindscape, that was just really cool. And how the artist did it, like the art in this issue is phenomenal, guys. This is some of the best art I've seen a Justice League title in so long. Honestly, it just looks amazing, guys. Like, I would say that whole, like, story arc with, like, the Black Mercy, that was amazing. The art looked great there. But the art also looks great here. I feel like we're getting a lot of great stories to Justice League lately after the whole Trough situation, right? Like, that storyline sucked. But here, this one's really good. It's a great tie-in to Death Metal. I'm excited for next issue. Because Lex and Nightwing teaming up, I always like that, right? When they team up in the New 52, when they team up with, like, past stories and TV shows or anything around, it's always they always have like great banter and a lot of great stuff goes on. We have 3 more parts of this crossover and I'm really excited. This is actually a really great crossover. And I'm gonna give this issue a 9 out of 10, guys. I definitely recommend it. If you're a fan of Starro, Lex, Starfire, Cyborg, Bobo, Detective Chimp, other character, Nightwing. If you're a fan of all that, then check out this issue. Also, it ties to the Death Metal, so it's even better, right? But yeah, guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my next Death Metal video or my next Doom Metal video, because this is a Doom Metal crossover, right? But guys, the comments below. So, about this issue, did you love, did you hate? What was your favorite part? What do you think about that Valley of Starros? And what are your theories for next issue? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.